And we ask very special blessing for each and every one of you.
What you've all been waiting for, medical director and stroke director. Here it is, Dr. Luis.
If you meet the criteria, which is extremely strict, but you meet it, especially the amount of time that happened since the event started to the moment you got to my hands, we will give you this medication. And I can tell you that I have seen people that come in a full-blown stroke, and within 20 minutes, they're talking, walking, and moving absolutely every single extremity. And I have seen that in many hospitals that I've worked, and I've seen it here because we do that here. The only way we can help you out is if we can educate the community of what really a stroke is, how does it present, and when you have to come to the hospital. Because usually the only reason why we cannot help you is because they waited way too long. And this is the biggest part. If you come into the hospital, we have 3 hours from the moment you started with the symptoms to be able to give that medication. If you feel numbness or weakness in one side of your body, that is the #1 sign in which you immediately have to go to an emergency room if you know you're a person that you are at risk for suffering a stroke. You can look up in the internet, there is this thing that is called the NIH stroke scale. That is the National Institutes of Health stroke scale. That is the tool that we use actually as one of the tools that we use to decide who is a candidate to get these thrombolytic medications or not. All that happens right here in our city, in our town. People really think that they have to go to San Antonio, Corpus, and other places to get a lot of things done. And most is because we don't know what you guys have here. And we can help way more people survive. I would love to come here in 2-3 years and see 100 that survive.
I had the stroke, are you ready? 1998. The only doctor we had was the Dr. Sigaroas, and I couldn't talk, so I couldn't say anything no matter what. It took me a long time. But what I'm saying is I had the stroke, and it was wonderful when it was all over, whenever it was. It took me a long time back then. You have to realize how many years ago it was here. So you have to be thankful with doctors like yourself that can help with everybody, and that's for sure. It'd be wonderful for you. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I've seen some ads where they're doing some kind of sonogram or something for the blood vessels in your neck and your. Are those effective? Is it worth spending the money on something like that?
As a matter of fact, that is the standard of care when somebody comes into the hospital and they suffer something that is called a TIA, which is a transient ischemic attack. The transient ischemic attack is nothing else than a stroke that was not long enough to leave a permanent damage. Usually one of the most common reasons why people get a stroke or a TIA is occlusion of the carotids. The carotids are the only 2 big vessels, 2 of the 3 main vessels that actually take blood flow to the brain. They tend to clog very quickly because they're right at the outlet of the heart. So the ultrasound that we do on the neck is actually to see if there is plaque inside those arteries and how narrow they are. Yes, it is worth the money because if we find an occlusion of more than 60 to 70%, we can take it to surgery. We can replace the whole artery with a graft, and we can avoid you a stroke. We use aspirin. We're actually using now Plavix. Plavix is a medication that it was used initially only for the heart. Again, same disease, different organ, and I don't know, we doctors sometimes are dumb and we tend to realize later on, if you work there, it might work on the other side too. So now we're prescribing Plavix also to the people. Plavix, it helps to potentiate the effect of the aspirin in avoiding platelets to get together, which is what makes blood clots.
Is it good to take the medication every day or once in a while? How you do it?
That is actually an awesome question because I fight with people every single day. I'll give you the example. Doc, I'm not taking my blood pressure medication because it was good. Jesus, Lord, what is freaking good? Because we're taking the medication. To answer your question, yes, you have to take it every single day.
I've been taking it.
Yeah, if you don't take the medications every day, especially blood pressure medicine, diabetes medication, the benefit that you obtain from the medication is out the window. People think that, I'll just take it when the blood pressure is high. What happens with that is, and this is where it comes and people don't know, blood pressure is and will always be what we call a silent killer. We call it a silent killer because your blood pressure can be high. You are not going to have symptoms. Blood pressure is one of those things that is such a big problem because it's the one that it damages vessels so much.
And one brother. And stroke happened to my brother and me. How did,
Because he didn't have anything. And we all have blood pressure, don't have cholesterol, eats healthy, exercises all the time, and
yeah.
just
Very simple.
predisposed.
There's this thing called genetics.
Yeah.
If you are predisposed to make blood clots, and there is markers that can be measured, but they're not done routinely, you will have a stroke, unfortunately, even if you take care of yourself. Anemia really doesn't have too much to do with the stroke unless you are having certain types of anemia that can drop your hemoglobin very low very quickly. For example, there's two diseases. One is called thalassemia, the other one is called sickle cell.